What's good, Raider Nation? It's your boy G_Money Raiders, aka Galen, coming to you with another edition of My Take. So, now that the draft is over with, I'm going to give you what I think and feel on my take of how the Las Vegas Raiders did in this year's draft. I'm going to go over the picks, each player's what I think, how they fit for the team, what they do for the team, and, you know, what's good for the team. So, with that being said, we all know how everything is said after, you know, a week now looking at everything and what everybody is saying. I got some mixed emotions about how our fans think with the picks and with everything going on with our fans. To me, not understanding and truly understanding, you know, the picks that we got here in the 2020 draft. So with that being said, let me just get to it and get started. So the number one pick, Las Vegas Raiders select Henry Ruggs III, and which I was hoping that's who they were picking. I know everybody wanted CeeDee Lamb or Jared Jeudy, and I get those picks, but to me, you got that player in Tyrell Williams. Then you turn around, if you think about it, you end up getting that kind of player later on in the picks, and we'll talk about that later on. But you sort of got that kind of player in CeeDee Lamb, in Tyrell Williams, and then whoever else that, you know, receiving-wise that we have. I mean, to me, CeeDee Lamb is a great receiver from what I saw, but we want somebody to come in and take the top off the defense, to make a defensive coordinator understand that, okay, we got to look out for this guy. Yeah, he can take it, you know, across the middle and grab a 5-yard slant pass and boom, be gone. You know, we all like to see that when we're watching, well, not, we don't like, but we can't stand it when we see Tyreek Hill do it against us. You know what I'm saying? Having somebody just literally run right past our defensive back, our secondary, and our safeties and everything. So it's like, in order to be able to catch the Chiefs, you literally have to have speed on your team. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole thing of having speed on your team. Now, Gruden looks at what Andy Reid has done in Kansas City. Just think about it. I want y'all to stop and think about it. How many times the Chiefs were down in that playoff run that they did, down by 10, down by 12, or whatever, you know, many points they were down, but end up coming back winning the game because they knew that they can score quickly, because they have players and receivers that can score quickly. And that's what you need in this NFL, especially being in our division. We're going to see the Chiefs twice a year. So I think the purpose of Henry Ruggs is utilizing his speed. Not only that, but the boy can catch the ball. And what was our number one problem last year with our receivers? Drops. And it seems as if everybody has forgotten about that aspect of the whole game, is our receivers drop the ball a lot. So I was very, very, very happy with the pick of Henry Ruggs, because you know he's just not a streak runner running down the field to you know, get the ball thrown deep to him that way. You can utilize him on bubble screens, jet sweeps, slants. You can just about utilize him on anything to make and to create honest defenses. Now, we all know that will take that eighth man out of the box. That will make safeties like Tyrann Mathieu, Darwin James, and all these guys in our division know that we can't just suck up and not worry about the deep pass. They got to worry about the deep pass now. So, in my opinion, that's the way I look at it, and that's the way I feel, is that was a good way of getting this team not only younger, but faster. In the second pick, they picked Damon Arnett, cornerback. Now, everybody was like, who? What? You could have got him later. You could have did this. Look, in the draft, you pick who you think is best for your team. You don't sit back and go, oh, we can sit back and wait or drop and get this person at this time of this, because you don't know what team was looking at him just as well. When you look at the footage of the Ohio State games on defense, and you were looking at the cornerbacks, and you look at Okudah, and you look at Arnett, more teams were throwing at Okudah than they were Arnett. And I get that somebody might write in here and say, well, Okudah was covering the best wide receiver on that defense. That may be true. But what separates Okudah from Arnett was a better tackler. Now, if you don't believe me, go back and watch a lot of the footage and highlights. Because like Gruden and Mayock said, when they put on the tape and watch Okudah, they were like, whoa, look at Arnett over there. They're not throwing the ball his way, and they're not even running his way, because they knew the boy can tackle. And that's what we all know we needed, was corner play. Especially the fact that, we were we're not necessarily thin, but we were thin back there in the cornerback DB position. So the next pick they picked in the 3rd round was Lynn LBJ, our version of LBJ, Lynn Bowden Jr. That pick right there, to me, was one of the best pickups of all pickups to me. Next to the next pick that I'm going to talk about in the next couple of seconds. That pick to me was like, wow, you can do so much with him on your offense now, in formations, in every kind of situation. You can do all kinds of things with him, knowing that he can run the ball, even though the Raiders are going to use him, they say, as a running back. But there are things now they can use with him, like, I understand the Wildcat and all these little, as Mike Mayock called it, joker plays. You know what I'm saying? I'm more looking at it like you can do a wide receiver screen with him, and then he can pass the ball down the field to Henry. You understand what I'm saying? Because teams are going to be honest. The defense has to be honest with everything now. So with them picking up Lynn Bowden Jr., that was huge to me, because now you really can open up your offense now. Because we all talked about how John Gruden loves to run the ball. That's John Gruden's staple. And John Gruden's staple is 2 tight end, 3 tight end set, fullback, run and pound you. Because if you really know John Gruden, really been peeping him for the years that we've all known him, every play sets up for another play. That's how his offense runs, because the verbiage is so big when you're calling plays for his offense. The verbiage is so big that you gotta know that each play can be specifically done for the next play. I mean, if you really, really, really think about it. All right. So that pick was a very, very excellent pick to me as well. The next pick was B. Edwards. Now, this dude right here, this dude is my height. This dude is my size, a little smaller weight-wise, but but he's my height. I'm 6'3". So he's that size, and I know when you get into the red zone, if something happens to Tyrell Williams, like this past season, Tyrell started off great, but then that plantar fasciitis really hurt his foot and hurt his play later in the season. So now you got a guy who can come in and run those plays, and pretty much hopefully you don't have that much of a drop off. That guy has a stiff arm like a running back, man. Like, I've seen him stiff arm guys catch amazing passes with one hand, break tackles, and freaking still get touchdowns. All we got to do is just make sure that he doesn't run into the players in the NFL. In the NFL, because in the NFL, these are grown men who can knock the shit out of you. Pardon my French, but that's what they can do to you. You know what I'm saying? So that pick to me, Bryan Edwards, was really, really, really good to me. I really, really enjoyed that pick, because now we got somebody to back up Tyrell Williams in the offense, and he can really learn under Tyrell, because we all know, just in case the Raiders don't want to keep Tyrell next season, well, B. Edwards will be here you know what I'm saying, for the foreseeable future, running his routes. So not only did you get a number one wide receiver who could take the top off a defense, now you got your second wide receiver now. Now you're building your team, or should I say, now they're building the team to have success after some of these guys that they picked up in free agency last year. So now we also go to the next pick in the third round as well, was Tanner Muse. Now, a lot of people did not think or like the Tanner Muse pick because they felt like Tanner Muse was probably going to be a safety. But the Raiders said, Mayock said they're going to use him as a linebacker and special teams just as well. So, if y'all didn't see him in that Ohio State game, run that run and come back from behind and run that running back down. That is what you want and what you need from players. Just the same way as we liked it when Max Crosby and that game against, who was that? It's eluding me right now, but where he was on one side of the line, on the D line, and the player ends up running down, catching the ball, the wide receiver catch the ball, running down the field, and then Max comes behind and boop, knocks the ball out, fumble, Raider gets the ball. You need guys like that that's not going to give up on plays. That's what you need. And if you keep building that through your young players and keep going with the Clemson guys, man. I mean, this is a Clemson, we all know this is a winning organization. And you got guys on here that just know how to win and good character people. You understand what I'm saying? Good character people. So most of these guys, if you look at them, have kids already as well. So they're coming into the league already fathers. Most of them. You know, I'm just saying. So the next pick was John Simpson. Now I know you know that Simpson was picked because we're going to see what's going on with Gabe Jackson. We don't know if he's going to get traded or if the Raiders are going to keep him and keep it going. What I'm hoping is the Raiders keep him, but I'm hoping that they would do something either. My hope is that they have Gabe Jackson either reconstruct his contract to keep him with the team. That's my hope. But if they end up cutting him or end up trading him, I won't be mad at that either. Because Gabe Jackson for the past 2 seasons, now this past season it really wasn't his fault, so I really don't blame him, because when they did that exhibition scrimmage game, I think it was with the Rams, Cowboys or somebody like that, and I think it was the Cowboys. Y'all can correct me. I'm okay with that. And he got his leg hurt in the just in a practice game. So the past 2 years he hasn't really been healthy. So I understand you don't want to pay a guard that much money and they're not on the field. That's the biggest thing that goes on and that can happen in the NFL is when you're not playing, you don't want to pay. That's what they do. That's the business of it. All right. So that was a good one. You can work with John Simpson for a minute to get him acclimated, because if you looked, he's a great guy that knows how to, his arms, his punch power is excellent. He just needs a little more footwork. And I think Tom Cable can get a hold of him and get his footwork, up to par, because if you look at Sharp and Parker, those guys, Parker still, Sharp has turned out to be pretty excellent, got his footwork better and his hand placement better. Parker, hopefully this year he'll come around and, get it together with his feet work and his hand placement as well. So, the guy, that boy Simpson is pretty big too. 320 something, 6'5", 6'6", something like that. I mean, that's a big man. You know what I'm saying? So we need guard play. We got guards in the free agency just as well, so we got enough guards. So like I said, if they trade, cut, or decide to reconstruct Gabe's contract, we got extra guards in there. And Denzel Good did pretty well, you know what I'm saying, in his in Gabe Jackson's absence while he was gone. So, and last but not least, my favorite pick of all picks, Amik Robertson. Okay, that guy touched me when I watched his phone call when he got the call from John Gruden. That guy, when you look at his footage, 5'8", 5'9", somewhere around in there, maybe close to 5'10", just depending on what shoes he wearing. You know what I'm saying? And he was not afraid to tackle. That's the whole thing. Is in our division, we have receivers in our division that are fast, big, and strong. Okay? And we need fast, big, and strong DBs and tacklers. Because in Paul Gunther's defense, majority of it is going to be running zones in cover 3. And that is what I was like really happy because Damon Arnett specializes in zone and cover 3. And that's what you need to do. Is they went out and got guys that fit the defense, that fit the offense, as well as give you depth. That's how you have to look at the draft. Now, everybody always have their critiques and hear what the pundits and all these guys are saying, where they think this person should go. And, we as fans, hear these guys and see what's going on. But we tend to forget that every person in the draft is a pick to each team that I feel is you're taking a chance on. You don't know. We don't know how these guys will turn out in the NFL. I mean, you got to think about it. It's 250 something players is picked in the draft, and a lot of times you only get maybe at the most 10 in that draft class that actually turn out to make a name for themselves. If you really think about it, on each draft, you don't really get a bunch of guys that come across and just you getting 100 to 200 guys coming out of from college into the league and just doing that. Because I look at it as the competition in college is way lesser than the NFL. In the NFL, these are grown men. I'm not counting out these college young men, but in the NFL, these are grown men that have been playing for a while, that know techniques, that know nuances, that these young guys don't know just yet. So when we're saying we're reaching for this person or reaching for that person, to me, all these draft picks are a reach because you don't know how they're going to turn out. You just don't. Even though these guys say, oh, this guy put up this much numbers in college and did this, and yeah, and then you have some guys who come out and say, oh, they ran a pro offense in college. Well, they may have ran a pro offense in college. That helps you with the route running and some terminology coming in. But you got to remember, these guys haven't played against the other guys, these grown men that are in the NFL. So in all, my take in this whole situation is the Raiders picked the best 7 players that were good for their team. They did really well in the free agency department. And I think they did an excellent job in the draft again this year. Because everybody, Max, Pharrell, Josh, John Abram, all these guys are going to just basically come around and have a year under their belt. And, Hurst and PJ and all these guys are going to come in and be the third year. You don't know. We got great, great guys that they picked up in the free agency. We got great young guys that they picked up last year in the draft. And to me, they picked up a great young pack of guys. Out of all of them, you got Ruggs is going to have a kid. Damon Arnett has a kid. Lynn Bowden has a kid. Amik Robertson has a kid. These are men with kids. And they want to do something for their family. And they are ready to come in and do what it needs to be done to shine for our Las Vegas Raiders. So hopefully, you know, with the coronavirus going on right now, I'm sorry I didn't say this the last time in my last video. I want you guys to be safe out there. You know, wear your mask, your gloves, wash your hands, do all that good stuff. I need everybody to be on here watching my videos and, you know, commenting on my videos. So please, everybody, be safe out there, because, you know, hopefully we'll be able to get things back to normal, or some type of normalcy. Let me say it that way. So this is your boy G_Money Raiders, aka Galen, signing off. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that bell button so you know when I'm going to do another video again. Maybe a little bit longer this time, because there ain't really too much going on. But if something does happen to come up, or if I want to do something, talk about some things that I'm hearing, you know, on the radios or on YouTube and things like that, I'm going to chime in and give you my take. All right? Once again, it's your boy G_Money Raiders, aka Galen. Peace out, Raider Nation. Peace out, my subs. Love you guys. Keep watching me.